Fine, so we can start. Okay then, so let's start. Okay, is the screen visible to all?
Yeah, visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just give me 1 minute. Right. Okay, so what we're going to do today, we're going to learn about how do we create suspended ceilings. And try to create something ceiling with these kind of suspensions. So these are called suspended ceilings. A couple of examples, you can see these are channels that holds the ceiling, the fall ceilings actually. Then it's been the gypsum is then been bolted on the channels. Okay, so let's try to create these shapes actually. File. Let us build over here for one of these rooms. Maybe we'll do it for the kitchen. Okay, because we have grid ceilings over there, so we might require these not one of these type, but these type of clips so that it can be holded. Okay, so that the gypsums can be holded over there. So I'm in the ceiling plan. So to create that profiles, actually, I'm not going to take the ceiling command, but I'm going to take a command which is roof basically. So when I come in roof, I'm going to take roof by footprint. And gonna make sure on which level you wanted to create the roof. You want to create the roof or that particularly ceiling. For right now, it is asking me for which level basically. Okay, so I'm gonna pick up as level 1 because it's for level 1. Say yes, and when I pick that, I'm gonna select the type of the roof, and I'm gonna take right now as slope glazing actually. So the type that you're gonna pick is gonna be slope glazed. And over here, base offset from level, that would be your up till what height you want this suspension to go basically there. Okay, so supposingly if you have given 3200, okay, 3200. Then before I make the sketch of that profiles, I'm going to make sure that define slope is unchecked, because we do not want it to give any slopes. We want to make it as flat. And remember, we are just creating that for ceiling actually, not for the roof. So not need the slope. You can take rectangular shape. And I can draw that shape from this end all the way to here. Can even lock these lines. Okay. Now before I click onto the finish editing, before I click onto finish edit, we'll come to the edit types. And over here in curtain panels, it says none over here. I'll make sure that these curtain panels should be empty. Means we don't want it the any sort of panels actually or glass actually, so it should be empty. Now the grid 1 and grid 2 is put to be as none. Now before I make any changes over here, I should have duplicate that type basically. So cancel, come back and edit type, and I'll duplicate it. I'm going to call this as and then the panel should be empty. And then we can define the grid type 1 and the grid type 2. So the grid type 1 is this layout is none, grid type 2 layout is none. We can give fixed distance, and the distance of grid 1 would be 600 mm, because over here we created this grid of 600 by 600. So grid spacing 1 would be of 600 fixed distance, and grid spacing 2 would be also a fixed distance of 600. All right. And there are no mullions being assigned to this right now. So I'm going to pick right now as if I'm going to take it like rectangular mullions of 50 by 150 everywhere. So even the borders will take the same mullion type. Okay, and then you can click on the finish OK to complete. Click on finish mode to complete. And what do you see over here is this of some system is created over here. Come in our 3D view. Hide the walls actually. There we are. It's way too below actually. So what is this height? We can set it out. This is at 30 to 50. This one we have given as 30 to 100. So we need to reset this out. Okay, so I'm gonna select this ceiling, which is at 30 to 50. Let's just edit that type of ceiling. I'm gonna make sure that I remove this studs actually. Take this up and then remove this structure. Don't need them 16 mm, that's fine. And I need to shift this above that level. Okay, and more needs to go, or you can come into the section view. Select this, you can move them to a little higher ground. Or you can move this in the middle also. In your 3D view, it's there, and but it's not supposed to be like this. It's supposed to, look something like this. If they are grid ceilings, basically. So what we need to do is we might have to create this profile, okay, for the center ones, and the corner one would be having the normal L shape, basically. Okay, so let's create these profiles. To create a profile, I'm going to come into the file menu, new family, and I'm going to take English. I'm going to pick a template called as metric profile, but in metric profile also we're going to pick this one, mullions. So we're going to pick this one, metric profile mullion.rft. And somewhere over here I can create that shape of profile. Let's take that as 150 mm. I'm going to take this as of right now as 40 mm. Fillet arcs, you can give this some sort of radius. And save this file. I can load this into my project. Now once it's loaded into the project, we just have to come into the families. Your curtain wall mullions would be given to you. In that I can pick the rectangular mullion type. Pick any one of the type of the mullion. Just make sure that you duplicate that type. Okay, so take duplicate, can name that as corner. And I can come into the type properties. You come into the type properties dialog box. Select the profile that we have created. Okay, got that profile. Now we can change this mullion type, especially to the border types. So border type 1, pick the corner 1, border type 2, pick the other corner 1. Even in this border types, pick up the corners. Apply. You click on OK. You'll find that. Got that. Applied it. Okay, but it comes like upside down. Okay, as you can see, it comes, but it comes as upside down basically with it. Okay, so what we need to do is we might have to create this on the top direction then basically. So let's mirror it. I don't want to copy. Load this into the project once again, override it. So now it comes below. Okay. So all on the corners, you'll find that. Did cut the section only. And we can shift this bit down in the section. You can better place it. So naturally that comes perfectly placed on that edge. Okay. Then we need for the middle ones as well. So similarly, just how we created for the corners, we'll create for the middle one as well. So I'm gonna just replicate this only on the other ends as well. Oops. Give this parameter as thickness so that if we wanted to control the thickness, control the thickness. Once again, save as this profile. And you can load into your project. Now in your project, you need to come into the families, take curtain wall mullions, pick a rectangular mullion, any one rectangular mullion, you can pick it, you can duplicate it, call this one as profile. Coming to the types, and we're gonna pick the type as that. Click on OK. And now over here in the interior types, these are all rectangulars. We'll change to the center ones. Now we have a little issues with this joinings. You can see like some are cut basically there, especially at the ends. So we can fix this joining issues. So we come into edit type. We have join conditions over here, which is not defined, which we can change this. And we can say, okay, the border and the grid one would be continuous. Now all the borders would be continuous and the grid one. This is grid one. So if you look from the top view, this vertical ones is grid one, and this is grid two. So if you want to make grid two as continuous, you can tell it, okay, you want borders and grid two as continuous. So they will be continuous and this will be like break-in basically. Okay, now it slightly leaves a little gap on the top basically. That's because these edges mullions are slightly on, we can off them. Slightly we are not able to get that joint basically. That's because the profile from the bottom is like connected. So that's a little error that is there, because this will create a little problematic basically for you. It won't allow you to join it basically. Okay, so on the top it won't allow you to join these two ones like a perfect match. Okay. So that becomes your suspended ceilings. Okay. Slightly little offset jar here, so you can come back to your ceiling levels. And if you can see, this line needs to get aligned to this line over here, so we can take the align tool, select and align it, click lock it. So it will be perfectly that 600 by 600 regions. graphic card issue. It's there, but it's like sometimes goes away. So that's how you can create your suspended ceilings. Similarly, you can also create the other types of ceilings in suspensions, like these ones, in which you have the omega channels ones. Right. These types. So you need to create this profile and this profile. Okay. So two opposite profiles are there. Starts you need to create. Then for the corners, you might have to create this profile for the cornered end. Okay. And then okay, now over here this mullion is above this profile, basically this channel, sorry, not a mullion, but this channel is above this channel, so like we need to create 2 times roofing basically there. And this would be laid about basically there. Okay, so one which will have only verticals and one which will have only horizontal basically there, and that would be stuck on the top of the other. Okay. Similarly, with this roof command, you can also create false ceiling, which are something like this, raftered false ceilings. Okay, so it's very simple actually to create this kind of false ceilings. I'm gonna take a very simple example over here. So like if I draw, instead of ceiling, if I take a roof command, roof by footprint on that level 1 only, and draw that shape. Make sure that define slope is off, at what elevating height you wanted to draw, and then you can sketch it like that. And before I hit it on the finish mode, I'll pick the type of the roof or the ceiling, and then you can come into the edit type, duplicate the type, so name this as wooden rafters, and I'm going to give grid type 1, maybe fixed distance every let's say 50 mm. I'm going to give that distance, or maybe I can pick fixed numbers and I can tell that how many numbers of griddings you wanted. Maybe I wanted only 20 of these. Apply it over here, and once again I'm going to come into the edit type, and I'm going to add the mullion types, and I'll pick a 50 by 150 type of profile right now. Apply it, then I'm going to click on OK. Now I can click on finish mode. Like, I just forgot to make that panel empty, so we can come back to the edit type. I don't want any panel, so we'll make the panel as empty, and then we can go okay. Here we go. That can act like your wooden rafters. You can apply material also to these rafters, so you can give a material. This is profile default. Right now is aluminium, which you can change. Okay. Now before you change, you should duplicate and then change it. Okay, just it's not able to duplicate. That's because it's pin. So if I unpin it, you can create your own material, or you can choose the existing ones. I can rename it. Provide the surface pattern or the cut patterns and everything. I'm just randomly picking it. Okay, now it only makes changes to one only. It didn't apply to all of it basically. But what if I want to apply to all of these basically now? So I'll just make this rafter pin again. Okay, and you can see it again. Bring it back to aluminum ones. Now I'm gonna select the whole uh, roof system or that system only. Gonna come into the edit type, and now over here from the type I'll select the duplicated one. Oops. Apply it, and now if I click OK, I should get that applied at one. Yeah, you can see that. You can see in section views as well. Okay, now if you want to increase more numbers of these systems, select all and increase the numbers. Yeah, okay, 20, you can make it as 30 or 50 or how many numbers. The spacing between them could be reduced and more numbers would be put basically. You can use them as a rafter ceilings. Okay, so many places you see these kind of ceiling running on it. These are rafter ceilings. Give an example. But if you go on internet, you'll find plenty example. Right. Especially you see these kind of ceilings in restaurants or hotels. Nowadays, even in houses also we use these kind of ceiling types. Okay, but it's quite expensive to build rafter ceilings because everything is each of these rafters is wooden and timber woods is like costly. So very rare occasionally you will see it in house. Okay. Yeah, these suspended shin created. Now all of the wondering is like about the suspension clips. Okay, now that is something very tricky to create basically. So we need to create that suspension clip angle. be holding my ceiling, actually, something like that. So these that will hold up. So you might have to create this as a separate family only. Find a better image. In cases we have something like that, a little rod is kind of there and it's been hanging on it. Okay, so you might have to create this details or as a separate family. Okay. So I think we'll keep it till here today. Next class I'll show you how do we create that clips so that you can use it to hang all these suspensions. Okay.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sure.
Thank you
Thank you.
so
Most welcome.